Anyway, and I don't want to, well, maybe choose my words. I was just thanking, anyway. But I just, look, I mean, Putin's kleptocracy, yeah. It was in January, after being elected, the late January, early February. Here's what drives the driver in the states that are affected. Here's what you can do.
That was just a 50-second clip of Joe Biden having no idea what he's talking about. And we've seen longer ones, we've seen shorter ones, but we've seen them all too much. You know what you're seeing and hearing. I know what I'm seeing and hearing. But the White House, specifically Karine Jean Pierre, wants us to believe that all of the gaffes that we see in the videos are made up, are edited, and they're being put out by bad media outlets and the RNC. And the White House has a new term for them, and this is what Karine Jean Pierre tells us.
You've been calling it cheap fakes. That is something that came directly from the media outlets, and calling it that, the fact checkers, and calling it that. And so we're certainly going to be really clear about that as well, and calling it out from where we are, from where we stand.
Right? They're cheap fakes. They're being put out by media outlets who want Joe Biden to look bad. Media outlets that support Donald Trump. Maybe it's the RNC. Who knows? But somebody is actually taking video clips of the wonderful Joe Biden and editing them to make him look like he's stuttering and mumbling and just glancing around at nothing. It's all fake. That is the new game the White House press secretary is playing with us, because they really have nowhere else to go. They can't cover up for Joe anymore, because every time he's out there now, he is screwing up. Quite frankly, I think it's elder abuse. And the person responsible, as far as I'm concerned, is Dr. Jill. Dr. Jill is making this man go out there and embarrass himself and the entire country. Around the world, people know Joe Biden is old, he's frail, he's done. And just recently, and we all saw it, at the G7 announcing dignitaries, Joe Biden just said, fuck it, I'm going to sit down. And then Jill had to put her hand in front of her mouth and tell him, Joe, stand up. It's not time.
Distinguished guests, please welcome the Honorable Lloyd J. Austin. Distinguished guests, please welcome the Honorable Lloyd J. Austin III.
And Cringe will want you to believe that that was an edited video. It did not really happen. Just some bad players are involved, making Joe look bad. He didn't really sit down. No, he stood the whole time. What you're seeing is made up. It's fake. It's a cheap fake. And very recently, I believe it might have been yesterday or the day before, Joe had all his favorite Democrats behind him, and he wants to talk, and he goes to introduce them, and this is what came out of his mouth.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm Jill Biden's husband. Thanks to all the members of Congress and Homeland Security Secretary. I'm not sure I'm going to introduce you all the way. But all kidding aside.
And that again, my friends, is another cheap fake. Karine Jean Pierre will tell you that did not happen. He did not mumble. He did not stutter. He did not stumble. He was trying to introduce Alejandro Mayorkas, but it came out, but it's fake. It never happened. Again, this is the new game the White House is playing with the American people. While they're having fundraisers with the Hollywood elite to raise money for Joe's campaign, with millionaires who could care less about the American people because they have no struggles, they don't know what it's like for you and I to just go to work and try to live our lives. No. So they're all parading and donating money, and they want you to believe that Joe Biden's the man for the job. Because after all, they're movie stars, they're celebrities. Why wouldn't we believe them? They know exactly what they're talking about. And if we don't go along with it, we're the bad ones. But we all know they read scripts, they act, they play roles. And in this farce that they're pulling with the American people, they're playing a role of individuals who say Joe Biden is the man for the job. He's cognizant, he's vigorous, and he is going to rule this country better than anyone has ever ruled it. I don't believe it. I know you don't believe it. But all the gaffes we're seeing, and we're going to continue to see them, unless, of course, they reel Joe in and put somebody else in his place. I think that's going to happen. I talked about it before, but it still remains to be seen if they yank Joe or they yank Kamala. One of them's going. Okay? I have a feeling Joe's going to stay. They're going to get rid of Kamala, and somebody like Hillary Clinton will be in the place for the vice presidency. Because if that happens, then what? As soon as Joe takes the oath of office, all of a sudden he can't serve anymore. He can't lead. And Hillary Clinton gets her wish to become the president. Because to this day, she'll still tell you that Donald Trump was bad. Donald Trump didn't win the election. She may not say it in those words. She'll beat around the bush, but she still hasn't gotten over it. So, again, we're going to continue to see the cheap fakes. We're going to continue to see the Hollywood phonies raise money. And we're going to continue to hear Karine Jean Pierre tell us it's not real, it's the RNC, and it's bad media outlets. But, one more time, pay attention, because either Joe or Kamala are out. One of them has to go. Both of them can't stay, because they know they cannot win the election in November unless they pull some shady shit. So pay attention, and we'll be talking about it a lot more.